Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy again, E2 Blue, back again. Yep, y'all seeing me again. Yeah, it's been a couple of days, but I've been busy doing overtime trying to get ready for this Giraffe Cowboys or Bus road trip that we're doing. And like I said, this road trip is going to be off the chain. So you guys are going to see everything that we're doing 24 hours a day, whether you like it or not. It's going to be an experience, and I don't think this has really been done before. So it's really going to be, I'm excited. Draft will be here before you know it. So I hope you guys are excited because I know I am. All right, so it is Saturday, and yesterday, headlines, 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 headlines. I mean, so much stuff was going on yesterday, like it make your head spin. But no activity from the Cowboys. Now, this trading frenzy that's going on right now, ahead of free agency that starts on Wednesday. I mean, Wednesday is going to be crazy too, but right now, I don't think I've seen this many trades go down in one day prior to free agency. I mean, since I've been watching the NFL or been looking out for these things. But I mean, it's crazy because the Browns, man, they're out here. They're trying to win, and they're not trying to be the butt, so to speak. The doo-doo Browns, they're not trying to be that anymore. They're trying to be contenders. They're trying to win. The Browns are trying to win. I'll get into that later, too. Also, too, I thought Jarvis Landry was actually going to stay with the Dolphins and play on their franchise tag, but news reports is he's going to the Browns. And they also traded for Tyrod Taylor. I mean, I feel like everybody's getting into this trading thing. I said in the last video, Michael Bennett's going to the Eagles. I mean, they won the Super Bowl. And they're still trying to win. They're still trying to churn their roster. They were what? $14 million under the cap, and they still were able to trade for a player of Michael Bennett's potential and his playing ability? Come on, Cowboys. We got to do this. I understand that we're strapped for cash too, but you got to find a way. If the Eagles are finding a way, we could damn sure find a way. Now, the Eagles already had a great defensive line. I mean, I think they're losing Curry, but I mean, again, they still got Fletcher Cox, and they still have a dominant, and they got decent linebackers too. So, at the end of the day, they won a Super Bowl, but they're not satisfied. My point being, let me take you back. So, our 13-3 season, Dak and Zeke's first season. We were first seeded in the NFC. Made it to the playoffs. Lost in the playoffs. But what does our Cowboy staff do? They don't make no changes. They don't churn the roster. They don't churn the depth. They don't get players in here that we can utilize and make this team better. What do we get? We get Nolan Carroll. We get Robert Blanton. I know y'all forgot about him because he didn't even play in the season. He got cut. So I don't even know why I even mentioned him. But still, he was an off-season acquisition. We got Stephen Pye. See, Stephen Pye would have been great, but he retired because of his injuries. But that's unfortunate. I'm not going to really include him as that bus free agent because he actually would have been great if he would have still played. If he was able to, that is. Demontre Moore. Well, he was suspended for the first 2 games of the season, and he only played a couple more after that until they cut him because of off-field stuff and him fighting in the club or whatever he was doing. They tried to keep that hush-hush, but it eventually came out. Who am I missing? Oh, Cedric Thornton. Now, I mean, he was already on the team for a year prior, but we paid him money and we're still owing. He's one of the players that we're still playing and he's not even on the team anymore. along with Tony Romo, we're still paying him money. And Nolan Carroll, we're still paying him his salary that was guaranteed. And Nolan Carroll did absolutely nothing for us. I mean, he got trumped by the rookie corners that we have. But the great thing about that is these rookies got to play last year, and they did a damn good job. And they can only get better from here. So I'm optimistic about that. But we have to get these pieces in here this offseason because we have to stay pat with the Eagles. Not only the Eagles, but the Redskins trying to make moves. And the Giants are out here making moves. They just acquired Alec Ogletree from the Rams. Now, again, we're talking about teams that don't have a lot of cap space either. I mean, the Giants spent all that money on their defense, and they're paying Olivier Vernon, a whole lot of money because they had to overpay in free agency. Now, I'm not saying that we need to go out here and get the top people, but we need to stop bargain shopping. If we're going to bargain shopping, you need to get somebody that's worth that bargain. Like I was saying before, the reward has to be more than the risk. Because if it's not, then you're going to lose. Now, again, you don't always know in the draft who's going to be a bust or not, but you know how these veterans are. You know how they played before. And if you have the scheme that fits their playing style, that maximizes the way that they play initially on your team. So, with that being said, the Browns out here making moves, the Eagles making moves, the Giants making moves. Even the Patriots are making moves. Now, about the Patriots, and we've talked about this before, me, Mark, even when we had our roundtable. The Patriots win and or go to the playoffs every season. Why? Because they don't value... Yes, they have their core players like Gronkowski and Edelman and Tom Brady. Those are their core. Those are the guys that are not leaving. They're going to be lifelong Patriots. But once these guys' rookie contracts are up, maybe they might sign them for 1 or 2 more years on a shorter contract. But after that, they trash them. They release them, they trade them off, and they get more draft picks. Because the Patriots never have high draft picks. Why? Because they're a winning franchise. And as long as they're a winning franchise, how they will and deal works. And also with the genius of their coaching staff, because again, you also have to have the coaches there to make these players better, because it's not just all about the player, because the player is playing in your scheme. And if your scheme doesn't, one, if it doesn't fit the player, and two, if that scheme is, if it doesn't make sense, if it's boring, if other teams are seeing what you're doing every 5 seconds and they can anticipate what you do, then it's pointless. So, Cowboys coaching staff, and I know y'all probably tired of me saying it, but I don't care, because I'm going to say it all day until I see a change. They got to be more creative. They have to stop this conservative nature that you're doing, just sitting pat and saying, oh, well, we're good because we had a 13-3 season. We don't need to make no changes. That's a bunch of bullshit. Make these changes. You got to make changes every year. Again, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They still churning. The Patriots have won the Super Bowl. They're still churning. You have to churn. If you ain't churning, if you ain't getting better, you're losing. And if you're losing, you're going to get fired. Now, with that being said, and I know all of y'all probably believe this as well, this is Jason Garrett's make or break season right here. If you don't at least make it to the playoffs this year, you got to go, bro. You got to go. Because they hired all these assistants and these backup coaches and stuff like that. The time is now. Because you don't want to end up being like the Browns and being the laughingstock of the NFL. You don't want to be that. And that's why the Browns are doing their due diligence trying to make their team better by getting Jarvis Landry and Tyrod Taylor, I'm sorry. So, yeah, so at the end of the day, you have to ever change your roster. If people ain't producing, got to release them, kick them out, boom. Keep it moving. Now, Granted, I love the Cowboys are loyal to certain players, but sometimes you got to be careful with that because sometimes that gets you in a bind where you can't get the players that you really want to get, and that's the issue where we are right now. I mean, I know a lot of you are down on Dez right now, but I still love Dez. I still think that he needs to be on this team, but we got to figure out that contract. We got to lower that base. Now I know in the draft this year, which is great because I feel like we can actually will and deal if we do it the right way. We have, I think, maybe $12 million left, and I think that was the $12 million that was rolled over from last year. The salary cap now is now up to $177 million for all teams. Now, with the franchise tag of DeMarcus Lawrence, that's $17.1 million if he plays on that franchise tag this year. And if he plays on that franchise tag, he's literally getting $1 million a game. Woo! For a 26-year-old? Let me tell you something. When I was 26, I ain't have it. I was what? When I was 26, I was what at that point like 2 or 3 years out of college. I was broke, dude. I mean, I'm still kind of broke, but I got a little bit more money than I did before. But at the end of the day, I'm probably never going to see that type of money in my lifetime. But again, $1 million a week, I can't even spend that. But congrats to him. But I just, in my opinion, I think what they're going to do is they're going to allow him to play this season on that franchise tag. Seeing if he gets, if he stays healthy, then they'll sign him to a longer contract. Because we got to get him under. We got to get Zach Martin under. We got to make sure that, because they're both going to be getting monster contracts. So we got to work our way around. Excuse me. I have a list of free agents for a wish list. Now, I'm going to say this is almost like a fantasy because, again, we strapped for cash, and I know the Cowboys ain't going to do half of this stuff that I'm talking about right now. But this is just a perspective just to put into your guys' head. So, first one I have, of course, and I know everybody wants this one, Earl Thomas. Now, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Earl Thomas being on this team would be awesome. One, because his old defensive coordinator is here. We have Chris Richard. I think that he would be a great addition because he's been to the Pro Bowl multiple times. Cowboys haven't had a DB in the Pro Bowl and I don't know how long. I don't even remember when we had one. But all I'm saying is him being on this team will help these young safeties, will help these young corners in that back end and that secondary do better because they have that veteran leadership. Now, with that being said, if Earl Thomas is here, that also means that Orlando Scandrick might be out the door. Even though it's two different positions, I'm pretty sure that Orlando Scandrick going to be out the door anyway. I mean, his contract's like, what, $2.83 million for the season? I mean, his contract's not that big, but if they're talking about moving Byron Jones to cornerback, you're not going to move Byron Jones over to cornerback and not have him start. So, if Byron Jones starts, and then you have Chidobe Awuzie, you have him there, and then you got either Jordan Lewis or Xavier Woods out there. You know, those are your three stars. Because literally, Woods or Lewis is going to take Orlando Scandrick's spot in that slot position. So that leaves Orlando the third man out. So, I mean, you're going to make him not a starter, or you're going to rotate him, or you're just going to get rid of him. I mean, we'll probably see what happens this week. And I'm pretty sure that between now that I'm saying this now on Saturday and this week coming Wednesday when free agency starts, you'll probably start seeing the Cowboys do some stuff. But I don't think we're going to be big in free agency because, like I said, they haven't done that in a while. But again, we have these 10 draft picks, and we have 4 of those that we can. We got these draft picks that we can trade off with these compensatory picks, and we're not going to sit and get 10 rookies. We're not going to do that. And they may be saving some to maybe come down in the draft It'd be cool for them to get Derwin James from Florida, safety. I would love that too, but we'll see what happens. I'll talk about that with the draft stuff. But Earl Thomas, that's my number one on the wish list. I think Richard Sherman might end up going to the 49ers because he's out there talking to them now. He's doing his physicals and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that Richard Sherman wants to stay on the West Coast. So going to San Francisco is probably going to be good for him because he doesn't have to uproot too far. My second person is, you probably don't even know who this is, offensive guard Josh Sutton. He just got released by the Bears. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, I believe, and 32 years old. But I mean, he's a good player. The only reason why they released him because he had a I think a roster bonus or something, like a signing bonus for like $8 million that they didn't want to hit their cap, so they just released him. So he'd be a cool addition. I have you guys know this guy because he used to play on the team. Running back Lance Dunbar. You guys know him because he had that nasty ACL MCL tear when he played when we played the Saints that one year, and he got injured and it was crazy. I mean, I like Lance Dunbar. Dunbar is like another Rod Smith to me. So I feel like if they brought him back for the veteran minimum, he's not going to cost that much. $700,000, $900,000. You could give him a contract even less than what Dak has. You know what I mean? Like, he'll come back because this was his team that he started with. You know that he played with the Rams for a year. I didn't really hear much from him then. I don't know if he even played the whole season, but I really like Lance Dunbar. I just feel like he had a lot of bad luck. Just a lot of bad luck. You know, he always had these injuries and stuff, but I mean, again, if you get him off the cheap, I mean, that's another body back there. I mean, you don't have to use him all the time because you got Rod Smith. You can, I mean, when we're doing these screens and stuff, you can use them. I mean, you can use some jet sweeps like how we used to do with Lucky Whitehead when he was here. I mean, he's a great pass catcher. I mean, I don't see the problem with bringing Lance Dunbar back. And I know a lot of you guys saw the report that DeMarco Murray got released from the Titans. He ain't coming back, so don't even think about that. There's not going to be a Cowboys reunion with that because there were some things that went on behind the scenes. There was some tension, and they're going to say that hey, everything was cool with DeMarco Murray, but it wasn't all sweet. I mean, I liked DeMarco Murray. He was good when he was here, but that ship has sailed. So next one I have is wide receiver Paul Richardson. If you guys know, he was I think he was like the third wide receiver. He was basically our Bryce Butler for the Seattle Seahawks, and he had 44 catches, 703 yards, and 6 touchdowns last year. Decent season, especially for a third wide receiver. He would be a good compliment. He would definitely be a good replacement for Bryce Butler because I don't think Bryce Butler's coming back because, one, they took his name off the locker. So that should tell you right there that they don't want him. Let him go back to the West Coast, wherever. But Paul Richardson, that would be a nice little pickup for cheap that we could do just to cover us. Linebacker Zach Brown from the Redskins. I know y'all hate Redskins. I do too. But he was a decent player. He played 13 games, 127 tackles, and they had him for about $2.3 million for a 1-year contract. So maybe we could look at that, just for a backup for a linebacker, somebody to, be some insurance for Sean Lee because we know that Sean Lee can never play a whole season. I mean, he's going to miss a couple of games, hamstring, whatever. I mean, that's just the bottom line with that one. The next one is I don't think this one is a possibility, but I like it. Running back Rex Burkhead from the New England Patriots. Now, if you've seen what he did in the Super Bowl and just last season in general, I mean, he's like a utility knife. I mean, you can run him, you can pass catch out the backfield. I mean, he could do it all, and he could stretch the field because that boy is fast. So I would love to see them get somebody like Rex Burkhead. That'd be cool. And he's a Texas guy too. So, safety Bradley McDougal, also from the Seahawks. Again, these Seahawk players, these Seahawks secondary. You see where I'm going with this? Chris Richard, Seattle Seahawks. Get some of the cheaper guys in here too. Again, that already know the system. They can help with what Chris Richard is trying to bring to this defense. So we'll see what I'm just bringing that up because they're Seattle players, so you never know. Wide receiver John Brown from the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we can also get him from the cheap because he hadn't had a great season last year. Now, that's not because of him. A lot of it has to do with the quarterbacking and, with Carson Palmer getting hurt and them just having replacement quarterbacks in there and not having the cohesion like you think they would. So, again, as a wide receiver, you're only as good as the quarterback throwing you the ball because you can't throw it to yourself. Quarterback Chase Daniels. I know you guys remember him when he was on the Eagles as their backup. He was with the Saints this past season. I don't know how much you could get him for, but he may be an option as Dak's backup, or if Cooper beats him out, if Cooper Rush beats him out, then he could be the third. I mean, he'd be a good signing because I don't think we necessarily need to get a quarterback in the draft because we have pretty much all young quarterbacks. I mean, Dak is still young. Cooper Rush only has 1 year on his belt, and I mean, you get Chase Daniels. He's technically a veteran, so I mean he hasn't had many starts either, but he'd be a good insurance policy. So those are my guys that I have for free agent wish list. Now, again, it's just fantasy. I don't think that any of those guys would actually be obtainable. I mean, some of them can. I mean, because they're actually come cheap. But if you want a bargain basement like the Cowboys have been doing, that's the bargain basement shopping that I'm talking about right there. So that's that. Now, I've had a long week. I'm tired. I didn't wake up today till like 10:30, almost 11 o'clock. It's about 1:46 on the East Coast right now. And shout out to my boy Mark Holmes. I'm going to take a shot. Joe Boo's one in my Joe Boo shot glass. Now, last thing I want to say. Ooh, that's strong. Anyway, last thing I want to say. I know you guys are like, hey, Cowboys, let's do something. Let's do something. I'm thinking the same way. Now, I know you guys are going to have your eyes and ears glued to the news because I know I am. And let's just hope that we can get something because we got to stay on top of the NFC East this year. And I'm optimistic about what our team can do. But I just pray that we can get these players in here and get everything going. So for now, like I said before, draft's coming up. I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. This road trip that we're gonna do. I mean, that's why I'm trying to work all these hours, trying to make this money, because I'm just a young middle class guy in my 30s trying to make it. So, we're trying to get this stuff so you guys can have a good experience as well. I mean, it's gonna be exciting for all of us as Cowboy fans. So, look out for that. You guys are gonna be seeing a whole lot of me. Lastly, I want to thank all my subscribers. I appreciate y'all. You guys are awesome. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. Support your boy. I will be doing a lot of great things, and I'm working hard trying to get you my perspective so you guys can see where I'm coming from too. But with that being said, I'll holler at y'all till next time. Have a great weekend. Peace.